This episode brought to you by Audible. Audibletrial.com/horrorvirgin for 30 days free and a book to get you started. And for that book recommendation, our resident book expert.
This is an episode about The Thing, and that movie is so much of a downer and nihilistic and a really sad ending. If you like that kind of thing, you will love Revival by Stephen King. Really good, really sad, weird ending.
All right.
There you go.
Check it out on audibletrial.com/horrorvirgin for 30 days free and a book to get you started.
This episode also brought to you by the fabulous Nick B.
B.
Woohoo! We love
Thank you
Nick
so much,
B.
Nick B, for being our Burn It Down Patreon level patron. And Nick B wants you to check out Preacher6.com.
I love Nick B.
I
Let's
do
take a
too.
minute to get serious about this.
Yeah, I'm going to slow it down
Ooh.
for Nick B out there.
Getting that
This is
Nick
like
B
the
slow
bridge
beats.
part of a Boyz II Men song.
You know,
Nick
but Nick B, I think about you all the time. I didn't mean to cheat on you, baby girl.
Oh.
I didn't mean to not check out Preacher 6. I go to Preacher6.com right now. Check out both the trailers. Ooh, take my time with it.
B's Twitter account.
See exactly what that movie's
and
about.
We'll find
I'll even think about helping get it funded.
Preacher 6 link.
It'll be gross.
It is scary.
Guys, if you want to be one of our Burn It Down Patreon level subscribers, go to patreon.com.
You can get your very own song
/horror
parody.
virgin, and you can get your own, very own R&B style shout out, guys. Go to patreon.com/horror virgin to get your weekly shout outs, or if you don't want to subscribe at that level, you can get monthly shout outs too, guys. Check it out on the Patreon. But for now, Jen, why don't you bring in that sexy ass theme music?
All right, here we go.
You know what, Jen? I'll do it. I'll handle it.
I was about to break it down.
I enjoy the episode, nerds. We have a light. This is
the new brightness you found on your phone screen.
That's true. My phone's like that.
The new brightness.
But this is the best.
Are you recording now?
Yeah, we're
Can
recording.
you hear me?
Yes.
You just can't use the table.
You have to be able to hear me on the most important
You
part.
1000% can't touch anything, and you're touching everything.
Hold on, guys. I gotta run to the bathroom.
Why did you gallop?
He's got the trots.
I'm a Centurion.
Welcome to Horror Virgin, everybody.
Oh my God! Campfire episode.
Holy
this
shit,
is my
man.
nightmare, though. Like we were really like 30 seconds away from the end.
It was
I didn't
about
know
2
that,
minutes.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I had no idea, and the power went out all over Nashville. It's not even raining that
It did.
hard. The power went out all over Nashville.
that was.
Oh my God!
Wait,
Is the
is it
power
coming
coming
back
back on? Oh my God! This is fantastic.
Well,
It did this before, but
Wait.
it didn't stay on. The power came back on, so we're gonna
For
switch
now.
over. Yeah, so we're gonna switch back over to the regular recording gear, so it doesn't sound so bad. But
Thank
yeah.
God.
Oh,
And so
God.
we're not terrified.
Oh my God!
all right. I'll see you guys later.
Okay.
Stop touching the table!
You know, after the power went out, Todd's been extra mean. Like when he went down into the bathroom all by
I
himself.
was very scared.
When the power was out, maybe he's the
Yeah.
thing, guys. You're giving him
Did you
blood
go to the
test.
bathroom by yourself again? Why?
Do you go to the bathroom with other people?
For privacy.
We share everything, Todd.
Aw. Welcome to the Horror Virgin, everybody.
Yes.
For the 4th time,
I
because
think
Todd's
5th or
made us
6th.
start over so many times.
Yeah.
Todd hates this.
Todd got really scared, and it made him really mean. And so Anyways, yeah. So we're watching The Thing. Oh, welcome to the Horror Virgin, everybody. I'm Jen. I forget how to start podcasts.
Oh God!
Oh, but that
Shit's
was
hilarious.
That was an interesting groan. So I'll allow
I'm
it.
the horror virgin, Todd.
Joining us today is special guest Chris.
Yes.
Also star of our Trick or Treat episode and the Descent episode too.
Yes,
Good
yes.
looking
Guy. Good looking
Fan
guy.
favorite, The Descent.
Oh, you're so sweet.
You're welcome.
We've invited Mikey to be a permanent part of the podcast. So
Yes.
we now are
Welcome,
Yay.
Mikey.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
And he
Welcome,
has
Mikey.
told us that he might join us permanently. He'll let us know.
Yeah. He'll see how this episode turns out.
Yeah. So, guys, we watched the movie The Thing.
Yeah, we did. Did we watch it?
Yeah, we did. And then
watched
the
that movie
power
that
went
night.
out and it
Yes, you did,
scared the
thank you.
fuck out of me. I
It
hated
did,
this.
yeah. So we had a special intro or something, and that was what happened.
Yeah.
Was at the very end of the movie, the power went out, scared the shit
Literally
out
the
of
very
all
end.
of
I
us.
thought it may have had 7 minutes left or so.
Yeah.
But it was like 30 seconds.
It really was.
Yeah, it
if
was
you've
at the
seen the
very,
movie,
very
it was
end.
the scene with Childs and Kurt Russell at the very end.
McCready.
He'll
You mean
always be
Snake
Kurt
Plissken?
Russell in my heart.
You mean Tango?
better than
Or
Snake
is it
Plissken.
Cash?
Or is it
It's
Santa Claus? Because he was just Santa Claus on Netflix.
I'm picking up what you're throwing down.
I got it too. I was mid burp, so I couldn't laugh. I'm sorry. I wanted to, but you just outed me.
It was
But yeah, I
funny.
was mid burp. Yeah, I was just trying not to
Thank God.
burp laugh.
Yeah, me too. I was burping. This is not just one of my favorite horror films. It's one of my favorite films.
Of all time?
Yeah, it's on my top 10.
So like it's Life is Beautiful, The Thing, Shawshank Redemption, Debbie
Teenage
Does
Mutant
Dallas.
Ninja Turtles. Debbie Does Dallas was your big finish.
No, but she got a
It
lot
was
of
the
those in that
climax
movie.
of the list.
This movie starts with a spaceship.
It starts with an 80s spaceship.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Like lighting into the title because the spaceship crashes into Antarctica, right?
100,000 years ago.
Then it starts out with a helicopter chasing a dog through the snow.
Yes, through the icy tundra,
Yeah.
and we realized that they're
I
Norwegian.
don't think it's the tundra. The tundra's got
It's
like
Antarctica.
it's like at one of the caps.
There's
the
a
poles.
difference, Todd.
Yeah, tundra's got like vegetation.
Tundra is like
That's where
northern Russia.
Yeah, tundra's where moose live.
So there's a dog running across the snow,
Yeah.
and the Norwegians can't shoot. That's
yeah,
what I
they're
learned.
chasing them in a helicopter.
No,
that
that
may or
is
may not say
confirmed.
clock
Let's take
on
a
it.
moment to appreciate how cool helicopters are and how hard it is.
I bet you loved MASH. I bet you loved it. You and radio. So the Norwegians are trying to shoot down
And they
at this
can't
dog,
shoot
and they're
into
trying
the
to shoot him for
helicopter.
like 30 minutes.
So then they decide to start dropping grenades on this dog.
Oh my god!
And they missed
and
by
then
like
they just
30
get in front of
feet.
it, land, and then chase it up to the.
There's a whole helicopter dog chase scene
Oh.
that ends with all three of the chasers
Well, they've got
dying.
those big sunglasses on.
Well, that's to prevent snow blindness.
So they
Let's
can't
not
see the
forget.
dog well.
Let's not forget. Kurt Russell, glass of scotch, computer chess.
He loses to the computer and
He
then
does. And then
makes
calls
it
her
drink
bitch.
scotch to death.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
He
valid
pours
plan.
Scotch onto the computer.
Into
It says,
the
"You
computer."
cheating bitch." Because she had a female voice, but you didn't hear it because you were talking the whole intro.
And the whole movie. The voice is Adrienne Barbeau, who was married to John Carpenter at the time, and she's the only female involved in this entire movie.
Just the way
Like
God
even in
intended.
the crew and stuff.
That's why it's
Yeah,
my favorite
no-
Oh,
film.
interesting.
Because of all the dicks.
Good bird. Good bird.
Yeah.
Touche.
I mean, it holds up, Mikey. It holds up.
I can't deny that.
Anyway, so the Norwegians get there.
Yeah, so the
they
Norwegians
land the
get there.
chopper. One of them gets out and tries to throw a grenade at the dog, but
Yeah,
then
but-
does the thing where it just slips out of his hand.
like
and then
he's
instead
throwing
of
it
running
past and
away
the
like the
laces
other
worn
one
out.
does, he goes and digs for it like an idiot.
Let's not beat him up. I've dropped stuff.
you dropped explosives and then jumped towards them.
You know what though? Mikey is the person I would trust least to hold a grenade.
I one time dropped a knife on a guy's foot.
What?
That's a true story.
Did
At
it
work.
cut their toe off?
No, the handle hit his foot, but he gave me a weird eye contact. He was real mad.
I would be mad too. So, these incompetent Norwegian helicopter chase people do not catch the dog and end up killing all of them.
Themselves, that is. They end up killing
Let me
themselves.
restate the scene.
So they get to the
No, but they
base.
shoot redhead
Americans
guy.
see them hunting the dog and all come out. The dog runs to the Americans. Then the Swedish guy blows himself up, and
Yeah.
the other Swede pulls a gun on the Americans.
They're
I'm
Nor-
sorry,
but,
hang on one
but they're
second.
Norwegian.
Do you? Yeah, there's no Swedes involved in the making of
Did I
this
say
movie.
Swedes? Yeah.
He was saying Swedes.
It's
So they do get to the base. Everyone's pretty much outside at this point because
Yeah,
they hear the
because they
helicopter
hear
and the
a
gun and they
ruckus.
see the dog, right? So the dog runs up and licks the redheaded dude, right?
I think
And that's
it's the
when he gets
redheaded guy.
shot.
Yeah, it shoots him in the knee. Yeah.
he gets grazed.
And
yeah,
then
it's
they
like 4 stitches or whatever.
But everybody's like, they don't know what to do. Everybody's like laying on the snow, like, oh, shit.
right.
Yeah, they have no idea what's going on. There's like a guy with an M16 shooting at the
Yeah,
dog.
tall captain like breaks a window out of the base or something to shoot
Yeah, he
out
shoots
the
that dude
window.
through the eye, through
Yeah.
the window.
Yeah.
And all I can
to
think
the
of is
wall.
Kurt Russell spilling all his scotch.
Yeah, what a dumbass.
Scene 2.
So then the next thing that happens is we've got DJ Curly Radio Man talking with his sunglasses on.
That's Windows. He didn't look at all like Bill
to the
Gates.
wall every time we say
That
Windows.
name was incredibly confusing for me throughout the whole movie.
I don't
where
know, yeah.
Somebody just yells Windows. I'm like,
And there are windows there,
Yeah.
but they're not talking about the windows.
They're like the ones that
talking
you
about the
look out
person
of.
named Windows.
I know.
Yeah.
Maybe because he always wears shades, so the eyes that are the windows to his soul are already
So he
covered,
only wears
always covered.
shades for the first half of the movie, no matter if it's light or dark outside.
Right.
And then he never wears shades again after a certain point.
Because he figured out how to stop
Well, okay,
looking
so
at the camera.
so John Carpenter, he had way more time. Well, this might be one of your fun facts.
No, it's not.
He had way more time on pre-production on this film than like any of his other films at the time because something fell through. So before this film, he had way more time to rewrite it. So there are people who miss clothing when like the reveal is made. So it's for you to suspect that they became a thing at that point. So like people talk about how like, well, Windows may have been a thing after he loses his glasses, and like other people lose different things too, and change
Things?
clothes.
Okay.
Yeah, Windows annoyed me a lot.
I just wanted people to yell computer commands at him like Windows
because
restart.
we see a couple of scenes where
Control Alt Delete.
Windows, shut it down.
Okay, but there's also a character named Mac in this movie too.
Oh my God.
And which
Holy
one works
shit.
Foreshadowing.
Better? Which one works
What?
better? Mac. Mac
Always.
gets shit done.
So true.
Windows crash.
So
Come
true.
on, Matt Creedy.
Mac Reedy, yeah.
He saves the day.
He does.
He does.
Just like
Yeah.
Macs do.
Well, he may not save the day. We don't really quite know, but
Meaning
yeah.
He blows everything
He
up.
gets
and
closest than
everybody
anybody
dies.
probably would have.
He lasts longer
Well, we don't even know that for the shit.
because he's Kurt Russell, man.
Oh, and Macs don't get viruses.
We've got a new theory. Do they not
Dun,
get
dun,
viruses
dun.
at all?
Well, they used to not get viruses because they were.
No.
So the next thing that happens is they want to go investigate this Swedish base.
Well, they
Oh my God, it's not Swedish, it's Norwegian.
Oh,
Jesus.
there's a big storm. It's Antarctica in the winter, so they're
Yeah.
trapped there.
we don't
They
see
can't-
much of the storm though. I just see
True.
snow.
But they talk about it. Well,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
a-
I
that's an
believe
Antarctic
that the storm exists. Anyways, yeah, so they can't get any radio signals, and McCready doesn't really want to fly because he says it's
And
not.
they're 1,000 miles to the coast, which is where the big base is in Antarctica.
Are they not on the big base?
No.
They are an
They're on an-
outpost.
They're on an outpost.
Oh.
The big base has like 2,000-3,000 people on it on the coast of Antarctica.
Oh.
That's still there to this day.
Oh, I've got a fun fact about that.
Oh.
They go to check out a Norwegian base.
Goddamn right they do. So when they're there, they find like
they find somebody who may or may not be frozen.
Let's go back. Because it introduces some of the people. So the commander of the base is going.
He's the tall guy, tall eyebrows.
McCready is the helicopter pilot.
Yes.
He's the main
kind of a loose
character, and you
cannon.
know because he destroyed the computer that he's like a badass.
And he's got that hat.
And he's got the Yosemite Sam hat.
And he is super dreamy.
I mean, he
it's
is.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Kurt
his eyes
motherfucking Russell.
pop extra in this film.
They
I mean,
sure do, because all that
Captain
facial
Ron
hair.
could get it.
Oh, dude, I
Yeah,
love
he
Captain
could.
Ron.
Oh,
I'd
and then
bend him
one of the doctors goes. I think
overboard.
they had 2 doctors in the camp, and then one of the doctors goes with them.
Like, one's got a nose ring. One wears like a Sons of
The
Anarchy
nose
jacket. I
ring
don't
thing
know
is a
who they are.
little weird.
Yeah, that motherfucker was 55 years old with a nose ring.
He's kind of a loose cannon doctor. They sent him to the outpost because they didn't want him around all the normal people.
Yeah, if you're a doctor in a 12-man outpost in Antarctica,
Yeah.
you had some licensure issues in some.
One word: malpractice.
So they do go to the Norwegian base. It's destroyed. There are axes in walls. There's a guy
Yeah,
with
clearly fire damage.
Yep.
That guy had slit his wrist and throat.
and his throat open, and the blood was freezing in the air. It was
that
really
actually was a
cool.
pretty cool effect.
Shit went down here, and then they find a big. It looks like a big giant ice hot tub.
Ice jacuzzi. An
Yes.
ice koozie.
A cold tub. I liked.
But I mean, we're led to believe that that's something in it was the alien, right?
Right,
Yes.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's what it
okay.
is. Because then later we see the hole that they cut in the ice, and they had transferred the ice back into the base.
Yes.
And
we
and
see that
excavated
later.
whatever it was.
Right.
yeah.
Later on, well, they
And-
find the big twin fetus body thing.
Yeah,
next
they
to
find
the ice tub.
Oh, is that where they find it? Right next to it?
Well, it's like right outside. With
They,
the-
they wrap in a tarp,
Yeah.
throw it back in the really awesomely cool helicopter.
Is it the Tarp brand tarp?
Did you? Okay, seriously. Every time a helicopter appeared, Mikey, you did that. You went.
And he got out his little toy helicopter and he started flying it around.
I like helicopters.
They're cool, man. They fly. Mikey gave us lots of fun helicopter facts throughout this movie.
I'm a 5-year-old.
It's awesome.
So then we find the Millennium Falcon that's buried in all of the ice.
No.
No. Jesus
You just
Christ.
fast forwarded like an hour in the movie,
No, they wrap in the tarp and they fly back to the base.
That's right.
Yeah.
and then they let the doctor do an autopsy with just rubber gloves.
I actually pointed that out. I was like, clearly that they are like getting sick with whatever it is that's inside these things.
Yeah, but he says the organs inside him are normal. They look like normal functioning human
They
organs.
look like
Aside from the
Jell-O mold.
diabetes.
Yeah.
The joke is Wilford Brimley is the doctor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to make a note that this is the point in the movie where Mikey said, I think helicopters are so cool. I know we talked about it, but I just wrote it down because it was just out of the blue. It was so funny. It's just childlike wonder.
This doctor is a boss for just autopsying this thing without even breaking a sweat.
Is he a boss
Yeah,
or
like-
is he
Doesn't smile. He's like,
dangerously unprofessional?
Well, I mean, he just tears into it. It's like obviously an alien, and no one's freaking out. I mean,
That's true.
I mean, I would be very concerned if I was asked to
I'm like,
cut
I'm
up
not
an
touching
alien.
that
Yeah.
thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I would bone the fuck out to that big base with 1,000 people.
I mean, 1,000% I would be the guy who was like, well, let's put you in charge.
no, I'm good.
That ain't me, dog. That ain't me.
Yeah.
Like, I would be that. Hey, Todd, you got to autopsy this alien.
Yeah.
No, dog. You put that shit back in the ice and we are leaving now.
Yeah. Next flight back
Todd
to
and I would be like,
Nashville.
there are 12 people here. This is way beyond us.
I will give you access to the scalpels and all the blue stuff
You can have
barbers
all of
use.
my gloves.
And you can use that to like sterilize the scalpels and just go at it. I don't even care anymore.
This is the first
Just
time I'd be
get
like,
me outta
McCready,
here.
fire up that helicopter. They're really cool. Let's get the fuck out of here.
McCready would be like, let me get my duster head on. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, I wouldn't bring that thing into the base. It's gross. There are two faces melted.
The base commanders obviously have fault for this. They should have never brought the body back.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I don't really feel like the base commander had any control over the base
really
at all.
didn't.
I mean, I understood
And I don't
that
think
he
they
was
hate
the
him.
base commander from early on, but he doesn't really have any authority.
I mean, if his eyebrows were any indication of his leadership skills,
Yes.
they
all
are
out
all
of control.
over the place.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah.
Unpredictable.
McCready does really seem to be the leader from the very beginning. Like,
Yeah.
even when they're trying to, like, see if he wants to fly, like, he says, I don't think it's safe to fly. And they're like, well,
Who
I
was
guess
the
you
other
don't
guy
want
who
to.
could fly that said, no, dog?
Was that Nose Ring?
No.
I don't know. It was a short guy.
That did happen, but I don't know who that was.
I don't
I
know.
can't remember.
There's like 6 people you don't learn a lot about because they're...
They
was
get
it the
things.
was it the Hell's Angel dude, the guy who literally can't act?
Yes, I think it was him.
Okay,
Maybe.
he's so bad in this movie.
Because they're like, will you fly us out to the Norwegian stage? He's like, nah, dog.
They do the autopsy, and then Clark is the tall guy who I've seen from somewhere, and he's in charge of.
Oh, dude, fun fact.
Holy shit! You know that tall guy who's been in something?
Oh, yeah, I saw him down at the 7-Eleven.
the dad in something.
There's no way anyone's gonna be able to. Oh, the tall guy, the tall dad from that movie.
If only there were a website we could look it up on.
He's definitely an actor.
Do you want me to just Google tall dad in movie?
No, you can get it on IMDb. I don't care that much,
Coach?
which is why I didn't keep going with it. Oh, dude, I love Craig.
He was a
T. Nelson.
poltergeist.
yo, if you Google tall dad in movie, House Party pops up.
Nice, nice. I love that you just.
No, he
Googled
was the
it.
dad in Wonder Years. Clark's the dog whisperer.
He is the dog whisperer,
So
and I
he-
really like him.
Earlier, he took the Swedish dog inside the base with him.
He did, and just let him wander around.
As you do.
And we see a point
With your
where the
dogs.
dog is kind of creeping around, and he walks into a room with
The
a
Swedish
shadow
dog.
man.
The rec room.
Swedish
Norwegian.
fish.
The Nords.
They're Norwegian.
What is their abbreviation? Nords?
Norwegian.
Northmen.
Weegians?
Ouija's.
Northmen.
It's not fucking Game of Thrones.
They come from the north.
I mean, they're Norwegians from Norway.
But Swedes are from Sweden. There's like Swedish, but they're Swedes. Like, what is Norway?
Norse.
Norwegian. Norse might work too. I don't.
Norwegian.
See, here's my fear. That Norse is like the N-word for them.
Only we can use that word.
All right, so the dog is wandering around the base, making
Yeah.
mischief,
He
Oh
is
yeah,
making
he's just
mischief.
off there biting people, licking people, standing on desks.
taking memos.
pouring J&B into computers because he has a problem.
No,
with
that was Snake
women.
Plissken.
No, sorry. Okay, so then Clark takes the new dog, whose name is Jed in real life, to where all the other snow dogs are. and they get really mad for a minute.
He takes this dog where Cuba Gooding Jr. is staying.
Cute.
Okay, so this is where it like starts to go off the rails. Like it goes
Oh,
off
yeah.
the rails quickly once they get that body autopsied.
Yeah, but
Which is real gross. Like even that autopsy scene is pretty gruesome. I didn't
is.
start dry heaving, but you did bring me a trash can.
I did.
In case I threw up because you
said
knew it was
wouldn't
pretty
clean
gory.
up any puke.
I refuse. If you make me watch the movie that makes me puke, you are responsible for cleaning my puke.
Okay, so the new dog Jed goes into
That straight up sounds like a band from '93.
New Dog Jed.
Yeah.
New band name I call it.
They
New
ska.
Dog Jed.
Yeah, they got kind of a Norwegian sound to
You
them,
just say
know?
ska?
Ska?
What the hell is wrong with you?
New Dog Jed is not a
So
ska
much.
band.
We're not dead.
Hey, Mikey's participating in a musical segment.
Hey.
One of
So
us
yeah, this scene
now.
was actually pretty cool because the dog kind of walks in. This Jed was a great actor.
He
like,
was,
for a
man.
puppy actor. He was killing it.
That's why he got the lead dog part.
He was
The
excellent.
other, all the other dogs are just sitting around.
Yeah, they
barking.
stupid lazy actors.
I know.
They were featured extras. I saw their contracts.
One of those
I'm a
dogs
dog
just-
agent, guys. It's not a big deal.
So he walks in slow and sits in the middle.
Yes, he
and
does.
Just power moves the
Absolutely.
whole thing. And then all the other dogs are just kind of staring at him. And then they start barking and his face explodes
Well, because
everywhere.
he starts making a weird noise. He's like, "Grrr."
Yeah. Well, that's the kind of the sound that the alien makes. Like
And
we
they're
hear that sound a few times.
They're responding to his dominance, too.
What?
Well, that's not true.
His dog
I
dominance.
think it's the tentacles growing out of his face.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
his face explodes.
And then the tentacles
They don't
grow out of
like
his
that.
body too, like it's
Yeah.
like spidered out.
Yeah, like alpha
Yeah.
dogs. Yeah.
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 You know, like when dogs assert their dominance and their faces split down the middle,
No one had milked
and they
his
grow
glands.
graboids out of their
I mean,
face like
did
they're
you guys
fucking
miss that
tremors.
part in White Fang?
I think that happens in Call of the Wild, too.
A lot of shit happens in this dog kennel very quickly.
Yeah.
Because he's like the
It
main alien
escalates.
guy is transforming out of this dog, and he's like spraying the other dogs with
He's
shit.
power moving all over
He's like
them.
He's like choking the dogs.
Spider legs grow out of him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Sprays it with
Tentacles,
acid or
shoots.
whatever. And, the
And at
dogs
this
are
point, no
freaking
one's
out.
around to see it.
Right.
I think someone hears it. It's
They
the
do.
dog guy.
Clark.
The dog guy goes back and checks it out. He's like, "Oh shit, I gotta get some help." So he gets people to help him
To
out.
me, the creepiest part of the scene, the creature is creepy, but the
Yes.
the creepiest part is the actual dog eating away at the chain link fence.
Yes,
because he's so
Mhm.
scared
and that's
to
the
get
one
out.
they
Yeah.
spray with the. I mean, I'm sure it was just like a hose or whatever.
And he's
but
trying to get out of the corner.
it just made
Yeah.
me feel bad for that
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah,
like he
I
was
know.
like trapped
So
in the corner.
scary.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
felt bad for that dog.
Yeah, everybody in this room felt worse about the dogs than any of the people being murdered.
Yeah,
throughout
absolutely.
The entire movie.
I don't know. I love Wilford Brimley. Anyways, and so then McCready pulls the fire alarm and summons everybody. And they're bringing like flamethrowers and
Let's talk about
guns.
McCready for a second.
How
This is why I
green he
love
is.
McCready. Yes, I love McCready because he is the perfect protagonist. Anytime anything happens, he does exactly what he's supposed to. He hears the dogs, he pulls the fire alarm to get everybody on the station to come help.
He is very much a man of action. You're right
And
about
he
that.
is.
He had noticed that all the kerosene was being used to burn the stuff in the other base, so he tells people immediately, go get the flamethrower, go get the kerosene.
Flamethrower.
Yeah,
Flamethrower.
I mean, there was a lot of fire damage to that first Norwegian base.
Yeah.
The base commander didn't notice any of that. McCready took a mental snapshot
Yeah,
and was
dude.
like, we need fire now to fight these things.
And he's right.
Yeah.
To be fair, those eyebrows probably distracted some of his vision.
And honestly, I bet the captain's afraid of open flames because his eyebrows might catch.
I know. That's why
It's a
he's
legitimate
stationed on
concern.
Yeah,
base.
I
That's
get
how they
it.
trained him as a kid, so now he has a fear of fire.
And trimming.
I'm fairly certain that McCready is just shit faced
Yeah, he might
the
Oh,
be.
yeah.
entire time.
I mean,
Which
he
is
starts the
probably
movie
why-
drinking.
Yeah.
Which is why he knew what to do. Because only somebody that shit-faced would be that impulsive, like,
Well, yeah,
go,
because
go,
he doesn't
get the flamethrower.
Yeah, now.
like he
I saw
doesn't
this
really
shit at the other
take
base.
time to think through this stuff. He kind of just acts, and it's not always the best choices. You know,
you might say he's a man of action.
he is
I
a man
think
of
I
action.
think they were the
Maybe
best
not
choices.
always the right action.
What did
like,
he do wrong?
Scotch and
blows up the
flamethrowers.
entire base.
Perfection.
Because he said it's trying to lure people here to come rescue it. It wants to bury it. We can get to that scene.
I know, but if there were a woman on that base, maybe she would have saved the day and saved everyone else too. Just saying.
That's really cute.
One thing I do like about this though is he pulls the fire alarm. Everybody on the base shows up and they see all the shit go down. So there's not like 45 minutes of trying to convince.
That's what I mean.
people.
Like, the
Right.
shit hit the fan real quick, and
It really
everybody
did.
knew it.
And yeah, exactly. So you don't have to you don't go through the well, he's just crazy thing. Although
Right.
that is basically the rest of the movie. It's just not crazy. It's are you the thing?
Right. Yeah. They
Yeah.
all look at the dog pen. At this point, it's grown into this big giant thing.
Yeah.
And then the smaller one of it climbs out the roof.
He power moves out the roof. And Todd was like, "Can it fly now?"
Yeah. And then they burn the big part and then
Uh-huh.
extinguish it. And they're
Yeah.
like,
I love all the flamethrower use in this movie too, because flamethrowers are really cool.
Flamethrowers are really cool.
Ode
Could
to
you
Ripley.
imagine a helicopter with flamethrowers on both sides? That would be awesome.
That just gave
I
Mikey
can only
a half
get
chub.
so hard, guys.
Flamecopter.
That sounds like an 80 TV show. Like, Flamecopter coming in to save the day. Flamecopter blowing motherfuckers away. Flamecopter. Flamecopter.
Flamecopter made by Mattel.
Fuck, I was not expecting that, but that made my night. Holy shit, Jen. That was amazing. All right.
By Menon.
Someone do a Flamecopter design, please. I will make a shirt tonight. I would fucking wear a Flamecopter shirt for sure.
The horror version Flamecopter.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So then Wilford Brimley explains it all.
Na 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 na.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing.
Na 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 na. Way
Oh my
cool.
God.
Who do you think would climb into his balcony?
Oh, dude, I had what
Just a
was,
can of Quaker Oats. Like, hey.
But okay, but not before he figures it all out while Doogie Howser writing out what it is. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the software is hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
no computer would know that, so I just pretended he was typing to himself to make the movie
I
better.
honestly, to this day, you could tell me it was a computer simulation telling him that, or him playing a game and then writing a note to himself. And I would believe either of those. Like, I don't know what they were trying to get across.
Can someone please make a cut of this part of the movie, but just replace that with Oregon Trail?
Walter Brimley's like Wilford Brimley's cold stairs while playing.
Yeah.
And then the last one is Wilford died of dysentery. Exactly.
Wilford died of thing.
Which is true.
He did.
Or did he? I mean, we don't know.
We don't know.
So
don't
he
know.
explains on his MySpace that the thing imitates living creatures and cells,
It digests
Yes.
things. Yeah.
and that if it escapes Antarctica in 27,000 hours,
Well,
many-
from
how
first
many days
contact,
is that?
27,000
I have
hours
those
later,
contact.
the world would be things.
all thing.
Yeah.
And that is 3.1 years that would be total worldwide infection.
So it's sort of like zombie outbreak kind of thing.
right.
Yeah.
And I actually don't think that is when he's Doogie Howsering. I think this is when he's telling everybody on the base.
Yeah, no, that's when he's Doogie Howser.
And that he thinks that Clark might be infected.
No, it says that on the screen.
Yeah, it says that on the screen.
Yeah, he
we read
types
it on
all
the
of that. He
screen.
types all of his thoughts.
This is not when the
Dear
electronic
Journal.
diary happens. This is when he's telling everybody at the base what's going on. So he's explaining to everyone else. So everyone is
Yeah,
on
this
the
is
same
right after that
page.
scene, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Now then they fly out to the Millennium Falcon and they rappel down the ice
They're
and
like,
they
yeah,
investigate
this
it.
seems fine.
I definitely wouldn't do that. Like, if
I mean,
And-
I guess though. I mean, you're not gonna be like, let's call the authorities because there are
They tried to
none.
call the authorities again.
because DJ Curly Q.
DJ Curly Q's interrupted from sleeping by Captain in a robe.
Maybe-
Remember, because he's like, "Why are you not trying to reach them?" And he's wearing his bathrobe, and he's like, "It's 4:00 in the morning."
And I'm trying. Okay, and the thing they think is weird about this is that the ice they dug it out of is like 100,000 years old. Not that there's a giant fucking spaceship in the ice.
People are very kind of nonchalant about the whole
Yeah.
alien aspect
Yeah,
of
and
this.
that there's a giant melty two-person face thing.
McCready and them, they just walk up to the spaceship and are like,
Oh.
"All right, fuck it." And they throw the ropes down there and climb down.
Yeah.
the other guy doesn't, though. The other guy's like, fuck you, I'm staying up here.
Right. The Todd
You see him in the
of
background
group.
walking around as they're like standing on the spaceship. He's back in the background just walking
Just
back
chug
and
the
forth.
rope.
Exactly.
Y'all see these mountains?
If he only
at
knew
this
how to
beautiful
fly the
scenery.
helicopter, he would have boned out already.
Yeah.
So then they go back, and this is when Wilford Brimley starts Doogie Howsering on his keyboard. And he's figuring out the probability, which is 75% that somebody else is infected.
I'm not sure that timeline is correct or even matters that much.
It all happens around.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
time.
it's and
Yeah.
that isn't super time specific because, like, honestly, they've already seen the dog transform and kill the other dogs,
Right.
and shit is popping off. Like, I don't.
Yeah, Wilford Brimley's scene is supposed to set up the suspense that like one of them is infected.
And the first
It's
scene
not
where
just
he's
a creature
telling
film.
everyone is when he tells everyone, hey, you could get infected too, and this guy might be infected too. So now everybody knows, everybody's suspicious of everybody else.
Did we talk about the redheaded bald guy? I realize it's a weird thing to say,
Did
but
he already get thinged?
no, I think that happens right after the dogs happen, right?
Radio
soon as
Man looks at the
as soon as
dead
they
thing.
get back.
Yeah, yeah. So then
That's what it is.
The dead thing is covered up that they already
Yes.
autopsied, and then Radio Man covers it back up, and then we notice it's moving.
Yeah, red slugs.
And then it
climbed out of
starts to jello down, and then it gets
Jello
redheaded
down.
dude.
Who interrupts them?
Beaker wants to talk to Kurt
Oh,
Russell
Beaker.
out in the crawler and says that Wilford Brimley is acting weird and that he's locked himself in a room because he's now realized.
After he live journaled,
Yeah, there's a 75% chance that
there's someone else.
somebody else. So he's kind of quarantining himself.
Somebody's getting the thing.
At the same
Yeah.
time, the redheaded guy's getting infected. The other guy pulls the fire alarm again.
Yeah, then
For some
Radio.
reason, McCready, the redheaded guy who pulled McCready outside, still a weird move on everyone's part.
Yeah,
Let's go talk in the Skadoozer.
that
wants
is a
some
euphemism for something.
And you
Guys,
can tell they've done it before. 'Cause
Urban
Kurt
Dictionary
Russell's just sitting
Google
there
search skadoozer.
Let's go talk in the skadoots.
What'd you say? I just don't know how to quit you.
Yeah,
He wants to figure out which shirt he's
We
going
need to
put
talk
inside his
outside.
shirt.
It's 40 below outside.
cold don't hurt.
Todd said that joke so many times.
Yeah,
during the
anytime
movie.
anyone went outside without a jacket, I said
I
that.
think that's what actually sent the power off. So originally they had a super elaborate death scene for him, the redheaded guy, and that was going to be really gross and disgusting, but it was going to cost like $1 million, so they had to cut it out.
Funny story about that costing $1 million. All the puppetry and gore stuff, the budget for that was $1.5 million, which is insane.
It
but
is,
it looks
but
so
worth it.
This
good.
movie holds up.
For
all the
practical
effects.
effects,
It really
it looks
does.
so good.
I've got some fun facts about the practical effects.
Okay, cool.
We'll talk about it.
So they pull the fire alarm. They
They
chase,
go outside.
they chase
Redheaded
him,
man. Yeah, he's outside.
yeah.
They're all standing in a circle, and McCready just tips the kerosene over and flamethrowers.
Well, because he's
them.
standing there with his long alien hands. McCready's like, burn him. And everybody's
Yeah.
like, McCready, what? Because McCready's drunk.
He's
and he's like,
exactly,
we burned him.
shit-faced, and he's got a flamethrower in his hand, so what else are you going to do? They're all standing around in a circle watching Beaker just burn. Although it's not Beaker, it's Bennings.
Yeah,
It's-
Beaker doesn't happen till later.
Okay, so then we come back in and Wilford
you,
Brim-
you at least say his first name right. I've been calling him Walter all night.
Walter
Walter
Blim-
Blumley.
I
I've been
understand
calling him Walter
Brimley.
for years.
Walter.
Yeah,
His
I
name
didn't
is
know
Wilford
until
Brimley.
we started recording this podcast that his first name was Wilford.
Well, and I actually know his name in the movie too, which I normally don't.
Doctor?
Blair.
Doctor.
It's
Doctor?
Blair. It is
Doctor.
Blair.
Yeah, so I've
Blair's acting weird in his room.
I've got
He's on his
Blair-
computer listening to emo music, typing a lot.
and then he just chops the whole.
Everybody hurts.
Sometimes.
Love that.
Joining us in the pod lob, Michael Stipe. That was Dr.
I wonder what it's like to be the rainmaker.
Now it's Rob Thomas. Rob Thomas joining us in the pod lob.
No, okay. So when they're outside, does he start? Does
They
Blair
come
start
in and he's
beating
just
shit up?
chopping the shit out of the computer, and because it's the 80s,
The
this
radio.
Oh, it's the radio.
That scene was pretty fantastic, though.
It was.
Well, they saw him chop the helicopter up, right, and then run inside after that scene.
Yeah, you don't see him chop up the
No.
flame copter, but
Yeah.
No, you see him run from the flame copter.
Yeah, but you don't see him chop it up. That's what he was saying.
Oh, yeah.
All you see him is him. I honestly think that was a double because
Totally
there's no
like
way
that.
Wilford could run that
No.
fast.
Right.
Wilford Brumley.
There's no way Walter Brumface could run that fast.
Maybe he
Okay, so
OD'd on
who
his
thought he was a
insulin, though.
thing when they saw him run like that?
No one.
What? When was he running?
When he chops up the helicopter.
Holy shit, Jen. Welcome to the conversation. So Walter Brimley destroys Flame Copter and then runs back into the base, right?
Unearthly
And then-
fast. Wink.
Uh-oh.
Or is he?
Well-
So you're trying to say that was an extra or someone who was
No,
just
no,
there
no,
who
no,
run
'cause
they
fast?
Walter-
shoot the film in such a way where it makes you think everyone is a thing.
Walter Brimley was a thing the entire time.
No, he wasn't a thing. If you listen to his ramblings at this scene, he's talking about how none of them can get back because they're going to risk infecting everything else. So he destroys the helicopter and the radio, and he tries to destroy the generator to kill everyone so the thing can't escape.
When does he become the thing then?
When they lock him outside in the shed
Yes.
later on in the movie.
No, I
In the Thing
disagree.
Shack?
I disagree because how
In
did
the
he
Thing
tunnel
Shack.
downstairs and build the?
Because
then
you
he
can open
becomes
that
the
shack
thing.
from the outside so a thing could just slide on in.
Yeah, I do think he was not a thing until he was in the shack.
Right.
When he had the noose still up, he was still a person.
I don't know. I think he might have been the thing because when he's trying to convince him to go back, he's weird.
Oh, he's weird now. He loses it. That's
Well,
why he's destroying the helicopter
Yeah.
and radio.
Yes, but then-
he makes a noose because he doesn't want to become a thing.
And then when they come back one time, I think maybe the second time they come back, the noose is like ripped up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But he gets thinged before he can kill himself, I think. And then when he's talking to McCready, he's like, "No, I'm normal now. I promise." I'm
Yeah, and that's why the
normal."
noose
No,
is
the
ripped
noose
up the
is
second
still
time.
up when he's saying, "Let me out."
No, I know, but
because
I
the
think
noose is in the foreground. He's like, "I'm perfectly fine."
that's why I think he's the thing because when you're fine,
That's why I like this movie because
exactly, 'cause
in the
you don't
next
know.
scene where they talk to him, all the shit in his room is all fucked up and different, and the noose isn't up there, and that's
It's ripped up.
yeah. So that's when I think he became a thing. But between that scene and that scene, like I think he's still a person with the noose.
The noose being ripped up, not untied, but ripped up, is why I was like, oh, he's definitely a thing.
Now, yeah, but when he
Yeah.
had the noose up, I think he was still a person.
Yeah,
That's why I like this movie because it's like if you look at it,
Yeah.
they put a lot of visual cues in who's a thing, who's not a thing throughout
Sure.
the film.
And there's so many different ways you can read lots of stuff.
Wait a minute. Where was he placed? Was he in his shack or was he in
The
McCready's?
tool shed. He was in a tool shed
I think
because they're
I
like,
thought
we're
it
gonna
was
put him
in
in the tool
McCready's
shed, and we're gonna
Because if he was in McCready's shed, then that means
no, that McCready's shack is his where McCready sleeps. Let me get you thinged up, okay? McCready sleeps in his shack outside the base because he like hates everyone, obviously, and drinks a lot. But the tool shed,
I can
they had to-
relate.
he's
The
autonomous.
tool shed didn't even have windows, so they boarded windows up so they could put him in there, and it had a metal door. That's my theory. I think he was still a person.
All right, so then they snow talk about how do we know who's human.
Welcome back to Snow Talk. Here's the deal, guys.
Joining
Some of
on
us
the
are
Snow-
human, or else you all would have attacked me. But one of you, at least,
that
is a
scene?
thing. Yeah.
I love that scene.
Me too. I liked it because it made sense. He was like, if all you guys were the things, you would just come kill me right now, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But, they're not all the things. So that he has to hide and pretend to be, until he gets
Yeah,
them
definitely, yeah.
isolated. And then he can attack them one by one. But because there's only one of them, I think at this point, he can't, attack them
Yeah, this is
openly 'cause then they can
McCready
kill him.
saying like,
Yeah.
if you guys were all things, you would have killed me.
Right.
Can they actually replicate, or can there only be one thing?
No. They all can be the thing.
So there could theoretically, if the thing got all 12 of them, there could be 12 things.
Yeah.
Yes. It's sort
'Cause
of
they
like
said-
they reproduce by, it's
The
sort of
whole-
it's like the flu.
Remember,
Like
that's
a-
why the
a
whole
virus?
Earth in 3.1 years
Oh,
would be a
okay.
thing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay, so then we find out that somebody has sabotaged the blood because they start talking about how
Yeah.
we know who's human. We'll do a blood test.
And is it Nose Ring Doctor who
Yeah,
figures
nose
out
ring
I can
doctor's
check it
like,
against
we could
their
just
blood?
Put our blood in normal blood, and the if infected blood would attack the normal blood.
I think he calls it a blood serum test.
yes,
which-
he does.
I'm no doctor.
Which
Doctor,
Doctor.
why do they have all the blood in the freezer? Because that's when we find out
it's
that
probably because if they fall and hurt themselves, they might
Oh,
need
yeah,
a
you're
transfusion.
probably
And why
right.
not just use your
They're
own
stuck there for
blood?
3 months. Yeah.
right.
And if you're up there for a while, you can give blood, and
Yeah,
every
that's true.
so
You
often.
can
So
just
yeah, it
restock
made sense.
Yeah, but okay. So then we find out that the blood's been sabotaged. But this blood, they couldn't use this blood for the test because this is like old blood, right?
What?
So why did they?
They were
going to
use the old blood that was your blood, say, and then they were going to check your blood now and see if it attacked your
Oh.
old blood.
Yeah, so if you were infected,
Okay,
you were
I
infected.
got
with
you.
It
blood.
more or less is a thing test at the cellular level.
Okay.
Listen,
Without
guys, I'm a
having-
doctor. I didn't go to Thing Evil Doctor School for nothing, guys. Nailed it.
They go to get the blood. It's sabotaged, which makes them realize the test would have worked because the thing's sabotaged.
Yes.
Right.
And the things are smart.
And then there's
which
an
is another
argument
weird
over.
part of this movie.
I'm sure they like assimilate your knowledge.
I
They
mean,
try to build the spaceship
They
later
built
on.
spaceships. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
They're
and,
smart.
and also, so they have a memory of whatever the thing's memory was, right? But they also can immediately speak English. I'm assuming they can immediately speak Norwegian.
Perfect imitations.
Yeah.
Read his blog. Blair's blog.
Be-doo-doo, be-doo, be-doo-doo, be-doo.
I don't have the old version of Windows though, so I can't upload it.
Windows
Yeah,
33.
Windows with glasses.
Somebody sabotaged the blood, but who? Because then we have a conversation.
Yeah, there
about
is
who
that whole
could have
conversation about
possibly
who
have done it.
sabotaged the blood, and
Yeah.
because the captain has the key, but he gives it to Nose Ring Doctor.
So now
Yeah.
everyone blames everyone else for
Yeah,
being.
but I
This
mean,
is
there's
when
a
the
whole lot of that
paranoia
going on.
really starts.
This is when it
So
ramps up.
DJ Radio runs down the hall and gets the shotgun. At
That's
this point.
Windows, by the way. That's
Yes, oh,
Windows.
sorry.
Yeah,
And
DJ
then-
Heroic Q is Windows.
And then Captain Eyebrows. This is when he gives up his gun and he says, "I don't think I can handle this," and he tries to give it to Sweaterman, and Sweaterman's like, "No, no, no."
I love that.
Oh, this is the best. This is the best
Yeah.
scene. He's like, I'm obviously not being a good commander.
yeah.
So was it?
Apparently
What's the
nobody
guy's
trusts
name?
my authority.
What's the guy's name?
I honestly, I don't know, and I
Captain
forgot
Eyebrows.
he existed.
Because he goes, Murphy, everybody trusts you. You should do it.
Yeah.
He gets this wide, doe-eyed
know.
look, and he's like, "This
Not
is
me,
not
dog.
for me, bro."
No man.
Nope, not
Okay,
for me,
and
dog.
I think Captain Eyebrows chose him because he knew he was the most submissive, so he could easily get the power back.
This
once
is my
the
moment.
threat is over.
I'm gonna pass.
yeah.
He pulls it. He pulls it. Is it Randy from The Voice or whatever? Or that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
no for me,
No
dog.
dog.
Yeah.
No dog.
It's a no for me, dog.
I think he actually says like, "I'm not equipped for this."
Yeah, he does.
So McCready grabs the gun. He's like, "I'm in charge. You guys are so stupid."
Right, exactly.
I'm the captain now.
He did wait to see. He just
got coalition
if that
power,
guy
dude.
was gonna. He did wait to see if that guy was gonna like take control. The guy's
Uh-huh.
like, "I'm not equipped for this." McCready immediately grabs the
Yeah.
gun from that guy's like, "Everyone gather around."
But
Yeah.
Childs tries to take control first. and they say no.
Yeah, Childs
Like,
does try to take
Three
control.
of them are like, no, 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 no. And then McCready
Well,
grabs the gun.
I feel like Childs is a good red herring.
I think so,
And I
too.
never try and figure out who the bad guy is because I just don't care. The movies should
Mm-hmm.
explain it to me. I thought that he might be a thing. I honestly thought at one point that any of them could have been,
Yeah.
which is what they were going for. I'm
Right,
sure.
right. They actually do explain that they said Childs is too quick tempered. We need someone
He is,
even
yeah.
tempered. So
Right.
obviously, drunk McCready's like, I'm even tempered.
yeah.
I burned that guy outside. And I said,
Right.
if y'all were all things, you'd kill me now. So I
Right.
know some of you are human. Mm-hmm. He's such a badass.
He is. I think Childs
Is he
is
a
a badass too, though.
Or is he inebriated?
I
He's just drunk.
There's a
It's
little
like his
overlap.
special power.
The Venn diagrams overlap.
Yeah, because in the beginning of the film, he's like, I just want to get back to my shack and get drunk.
Yeah.
No alien invasion's going to slow me down.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Well, in the last scene, he's walking out to that shack. He meets, what's the guy's name?
Childs.
He meets Childs with a fucking bottle of scotch.
Apparently, there's a deleted scene where he has an inflatable doll that he's blowing up that's in that shack too. So
Oh my God.
Oh, my God.
They cut it out.
This man is literally my hero.
He's a man of action. He's a man of a lot of actions.
I mean, okay, these guys didn't just end up in the end of the world. Like, they had some problems.
Exactly. That's why he has a shack in Antarctica.
That's their helicopter
even
pilot.
on the main
He's the
base.
pilot, and he's drinking this much.
I mean, he crashes.
his super duper
And was
helicopters.
drunk at the beginning of the movie when they made him fly to the Norwegian base.
That's why he looks at the UFO and he's like, throw the rope down.
Oh, it's a spaceship.
You guys think there's scotch in there?
This fucking
check it out.
spaceship ruining my Tuesday. So McCready becomes leader.
Nobody trusts anybody. This is when the paranoia starts to set in.
Then a
and
couple of
everybody
days
starts
go by,
getting mad.
right?
I don't think so.
I think
seems
this
like
happens over the course of like a
24
day and a
hours.
half. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a day and a half or 2 days, 48 hours.
Yeah,
Not very
it
long.
seems like it all happens pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like you could tell me the dogs, like that scene happens and it's like
That's
one day.
though. There's like 3 nights.
Oh, I thought it was the dog happened on one night and the end of the movie happened the next
The
night.
next
there's
night, I
another,
think you're right.
night because Blair's like, I hear stuff at night.
But then you've got to deal with the, the whole hemisphere issue where how long are their days?
true.
Oh,
Is it
that's
a
true. Yeah,
polar
it could
day?
be. Yeah, you're
30
right.
days of night.
Ba-ba-bum.
Maybe
Ben
he's hearing
Foster just walking through on his way to Bumfuck. What was that
Stranger.
place called?
Barrow.
Barrow. I was close.
Bumfuck. Okay, so then we do. Oh, then Beaker is carefully guarding his beaker, and
Hence why we named him Beaker. He looked like
True.
Beaker and also
he has
very
a
protective
beaker.
of the beaker. Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, McCready comes in at some point and he grabs his beaker real close. He says, "No."
Honestly, don't think he even like grabs it, but he does like lunge towards it a
He
little
does.
bit.
He's very
Which I
protective.
think was what I don't know. I don't
Maybe
know if
there's
that was
thing
his
juice in
tail or
there.
whatever.
Yeah, there's thing juice in that beaker.
Like semen.
Not his thing juice.
Oh, my bad.
Although, and then Beaker says, which translate
Right.
roughly to we shouldn't share food.
We should eat out of cans.
Was that a pity laugh, Mikey?
No, I thought it was great.
I thought it was funny.
Woo.
So that is when the lights slowly dim, but they
Yeah.
explain that away by somebody blew a fuse.
Yeah.
And the lights don't slowly dim when you blow a fuse.
If they're classy, they do. They romantically dim out.
I mean, the lights went out earlier here.
It didn't dim.
It did not dim. It flickered a little bit.
It was fucking terrifying. I hated it.
It was really scary.
I immediately grabbed my phone and turned my flashlight on.
Yeah.
Like I waited no time.
It
Oh,
was adorable.
Oh. Yeah, okay, so then when we have the awesome scene with Wilford Brimley when he's quarantined in the noose shack, and we already talked about it a little bit, but that's when this happens. Have we talked about this enough? Can we move on?
We haven't talked about it at all.
Okay, we've talked about it other places. So this is where we go to the sad Wilford Brimley shack where they have quarantined him because
Yes.
he destroyed all the radios and chopped. a
Why
bunch
did they
of
go out to
shit.
this shack right now?
I think just to ask him doctor questions about this thing because he did an autopsy on it.
Right, and he's got the new stuff, and then
this
and then
scene is
McCready
really
thinks
funny.
McCready thinks so and so is a thing, and he's like, he's not a thing.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant
still
scene
happening?
because there's a noose in the foreground. He's saying, "I'm so much better now. I've got my shit together.
Please
Just
let me come
out. I
back.
want to come back in.
I'm
I
normal."
hear them out at night.
It's so
making
cold out
noise.
here.
Yeah. I hear the things out at night making weird noises. Please let me back."
Yeah, but he's very like even toned when he's saying
But
all
the
of
whole
this.
time, there's just a big noose right in the foreground.
Right, yeah. That nobody ever acknowledges.
No.
No one acknowledged. Well, I mean, you can't help but see it.
Yeah, I do really like this scene. So then they find burned beaker because we don't see it. Oh, there is a jump scare after the lights slowly dim where somebody just walks by and
Oh,
scared
maybe
the
that's why.
shit
Maybe
out
they
of
go outside
Todd.
and find burned beaker, and they're like, "Let's go ask Blair what happened."
Oh, if he saw anything?
Yeah.
So they find burned beaker in the snow. And that's when everybody starts to get really scared. And they start nailing boards everywhere and trying to barricade themselves in the...
Because they realize people have been
Locked.
wandering around at night and they don't know whose things.
Right.
Which may mean that there's more than one night, too, because it's giving them time to
Yeah. See, I'm
become
telling you, I think
things.
time elapses.
It might be,
Yeah.
but they
I
don't
don't
really
know.
explain it.
It's definitely a movie you could watch again, and you pick up on a lot of different.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, I bet that's
well,
true.
And the pace of the movie is so fast because there's so many different things that happen that, like, I don't even have a lot of notes because
Well, like if you would have blinked, you would have missed that noose is gone. Then the next scene, it looks
I
like a
didn't
fight
notice.
happened in that shack.
with his thing.
Gross.
So what happens next? Oh, they find charbroiled beaker.
Right.
Yeah, they find Charbroiled Beaker, and then so it's Roller Skate Man and McCready that have gone out to ask Wilford Brimley, and so then Roller Skates comes back.
Right, because when they get done talking to Wilford Brimley, he looks up at his shack and he's like, "We need to go to my shack," and there's like, "Why?" He's
Right.
like,
Because I turned the light off 2 days ago or whatever.
the
Right.
camera goes, and you're like,
and so
"Oh,
they're going, and then we don't see that happen, but we see Roller Skate Man come back, and he's got this incriminating evidence against McCready, which is like a shredded shirt or something.
It's like his army shirt or
Yeah.
jacket or
And it
whatever that
says
has his name on it.
McCready, So now we think he might be the thing because apparently the thing like will bust out, it will hulk out of your clothes.
Right,
when
because
you turn the thing.
later on they're like, we found shredded pajamas, so we know
Right.
somebody.
Right.
So this is a great scene because at this point you don't know if McCready's a thing or if the thing is trying to set McCready up because McCready's the only one who's actually doing shit.
Damn
that
you,
the
thing.
that the thing doesn't like. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also the guy who is accusing him at this point is not a thing either.
Well, we don't know that yet.
I know,
Right.
but we
But
find out later
nobody-
he wasn't.
yeah.
So,
So you don't-
it
you're-
is.
you're-
It is the
Nobody
thing
trusts
legit
anything.
just setting him up.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Because later on you find out McCready is not a thing.
Right.
It's a whole thing.
Anyway, so they come back. The roller skate guy comes back in the base, and they find out that
They
McCready
get
might
the
be a
like,
thing.
McCready's
Right?
a thing, and then they
and
lock
so he just left him.
Yeah, and they lock him out.
I will say this. I think I want a listener to count how many times the word thing is said. It's driving me fucking
We need
crazy.
a thing counter. Can we please make that a thing?
All right, so but anyway,
lock him out. They lock him
lock
out.
out Kurt
They
Russell,
lock
but
him
he goes in the supply room window.
Yeah,
Yeah.
breaks a window. They're
And-
freaking
Oh.
out.
Yeah, I did like this scene because it shows how badass he is and how much he
yeah.
learned in both New York and L.A. Because he grabs dynamite and a flare and he's like, "Let's do
Yeah,
this."
because they axe open the door
Yeah.
he broke into, and he's like, if anybody comes near me,
They
I'll blow up
shine
the
him
whole
through the
base.
door.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because he must think that roller skates guy is a thing and trying to kill him.
I'm assuming
Exactly.
so.
Yeah. Everybody thinks everybody else is the thing.
But at this point, he is like holding them hostage.
McCready's got the dynamite. The guy who doesn't want to take command, Sweater Man, has a heart attack on the floor.
No, after the Sweater Man and Roller Skates back jump McCready
Yeah.
with his dynamite and
But he still
flame
has
and
his dynamite,
flare. Yeah.
Which is super dangerous.
Well, yeah,
Hey,
and-
someone jump on the back of the guy with dynamite and an open flame.
Only McCready is smart in the whole film.
and it really doesn't affect McCready at all because he still has the dynamite
he's like,
and the
"No, if you
flare.
touch
Again, fly in the flame copter.
He's like, I dare you to do it. I'll just blow the base up. I don't want to live.
And then that's why I drink all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, he
He's
is
trying to drink his sadness
making
away,
sense.
yeah.
That's
He
why
is-
the whole movie's like, we're not going to make it out.
Yeah.
He just wants to blow as much shit up as he can before he
So
goes.
the guy has a heart attack on the floor. They wheel him into the infirmary.
yeah,
They start
and then
doing
Nose
compressions.
Ring Doctor is doing compressions on him, then gets chest
He's like,
chomped.
let's get the defibrillator.
Holy
the defibrillator.
shit.
Yeah.
This scared me super bad.
I
And we
knew this was
posted-
going to scare you.
We posted this on social media.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten that this part happened, and so Mikey and I were kind of texting when to record Todd.
I have no idea. This being practical, I have no idea how they made that look
It
so
looks
good.
so good. It still looks so good.
Yeah, that's what I
'Cause
mean.
he takes the defibrillator, goes like does it once, the whole body jumps. He's like, all right, recharge.
Yeah, it reacts
Clear.
the way a body should.
Puts his hands back down, and Todd.
He gets stomach bit. It fucked me up, man. Like I don't know how to say it.
he
Like
gets a big chest chomper.
His
and
stomach
he chomps
opens
the
up like a
arms
mouth
off.
and bites the defibrillator out and his arms off.
and then his head starts blowing up, or no, the chest explodes, and
yeah, and he
well, he gets
grows-
two heads.
Holy
One
shit.
goes up and the other one crawls off the damn table.
oh yeah, that's right. One calls out of the stomach.
So I got a fun fact about the arms on that.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear it now?
Yeah.
the arms on the doctor who was
Yeah.
defibrillating.
So they used a body double that was a double amputee who did not have arms, and so they just gave him some fake or some prosthetics, and so the chest chomper just chomped on those fake arms, and he pulled off, and it just ripped the prosthetics off. So the reason it looks so realistic is because the actor who's getting his arms ripped off actually doesn't have arms.
That's so
awesome.
cool.
That is awesome. Yeah.
But it looks so good. It looks exactly. It
really
looks
does.
better than if a movie tried to do that today.
Yes. It
Agreed.
does.
But badass McCready learns from the defibrillator. If I attack the part, he says Todd was freaking out. But while Todd's
remember
freaking
this.
out,
I remember
because he's
this,
like,
yeah.
the part will try to protect itself over the hole. So if we can damage the blood, it'll react. So let's just test our
Yeah.
blood by like trying to hurt it.
Genius move.
McCready's a
know.
genius.
And this is where he does start to tie them up. Oh, wait, sorry. Spiderhead
Oh, yeah.
also is like crawling around. So they do flamethrower the body of the guy who chickened out of being in charge. And that body is burned, right?
Is this when he split face head chomps? No, that's
No,
after
that's
the other.
that's the next blood test.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then this Spiderhead starts walking out and then turns around and then they see it and they fire that.
And then
as
all
well.
of them like take a moment to look at it. The ones that are left like look at each other and they're just like, "What the fuck?"
Right.
And then they burn it.
And then Chris mentioned too, like, how is this entire building not burned down
Yeah,
at this
it's
point?
the structural
impressive.
integrity is very impressive, for
Impressive.
sure.
I mean, it does explode, so we know it does burn, but it's just not.
He
with these
dynamited that whole
flamethrowers.
thing.
Yeah.
Blew it up real good.
Oh
Real
yeah, he is
nice.
a man of action. I think Mikey has a bigger crush on Kurt Russell in this movie than I do.
McCready just goes into a crisis and he's like, so immediately after he watched a stomach chew a man's hands off and then burns 3 people, he's like, now I'm going to tie all of you up and then test your blood.
And he does.
Immediately.
While being completely intoxicated.
Right.
This man is drunk, holding dynamite in an open flame, and somehow convinces
And
everyone to tie
perform-
themselves up.
They elected him leader.
Yeah.
he does what Blair does. He's like, we just can't get back. We're not going to make it.
So if we are ever in a crisis with Mikey,
If we're in a crisis with an
Your house
alien
is
that could
getting
destroy
blown
the
up.
Earth in 3 years, if we all live, I'm going to kill us all.
I'm leaving. The first thing I'm doing is leaving.
I'm getting drunk.
Well, good luck dying.
then
I'm
saving the
leaving.
world.
Todd's 10-gallon hat will be
Yeah,
flapping
Chris.
in the breeze as he
Whatever.
flame
I'm gonna
pops
get
us
hammered
out.
on scotch and then save the world.
Yeah, Chris and I are going to watch some guy's arms getting off, and I'll be like, Chris, we got to tie these guys up.
First drink.
So anyway, the next scene is McCready testing blood, right?
This
Yeah.
is the best part of the film.
This is the best part of the
These
movie.
3
Also,
scenes,
another jump scare in this that scared the fuck
Oh,
out of me.
no,
This scene's long.
The scene cuts though in this are fantastic.
Yes, that
Yeah.
This scene is
And
funny
they're
and
sort of
suspenseful and
comical,
scary.
yeah. Aside from the one jump scare, I liked this scene.
Oh, I
So-
do too. Yeah, this
McCready-
is kind of what the movie's
And
known
Captain
for.
Eyebrows, his little freak out, beautiful.
Oh yeah.
So they're all tied up on couches.
They're not all tied up because I think DJ Radio's still.
No, he tests him first and unties him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
So they're all tied up. He carves a wire and then heats it up with his flamethrower. And he gets he makes DJ Radio cut himself.
Yeah.
And he tests his blood.
and it's
Yes.
funny because every time you see somebody's blood doesn't get tested, it immediately cuts to that person with a flamethrower on people, and he's now part of the blood
Yeah,
test team.
That shit was hilarious.
It really was
This blood is
funny.
clean. And then they're all looking at the other guys like, we're all safe.
Okay, so
You
then
can just definitely tell how relieved they were to have friends again.
Yeah.
you know, like, oh my god.
Human interaction is important.
Okay, so who I didn't
It was-
write down.
it
a whole
was
lot of
Hell's
details
Angel
about
guy.
this.
It was, yeah.
It was Hell's Angels. But so they're talking to Captain Eyebrows because they've eliminated everyone, and Childs is kind of giving them a little
Yeah,
attitude.
McCready has thought he's a thing since the beginning.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I do think he
They
was sort
just
of a
don't
red
get
herring because
along.
in the scene before, he says something like, "We could all get him if we just rush him," and everyone's like, "Oh, you the thing." You know what I'm talking about?
And then McCready's like, we know you had the keys to that blood.
Yeah.
We'll test you last.
And that's what I love so much about Keith David is his face. He's just kind of got this menacing look about him in general, you know, and he's such a badass. Like he's kind of the other half of McCready in this movie,
yeah.
you know. You don't spend as much time with him, so you don't like him as much. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
But yeah,
Agreed.
so you immediately think just because of his personality. But so we find out that Childs is not the thing. And then Captain Eyebrows is giving him some attitude too.
yeah, he's like, we'll test you last, and then
He's testing Sons of
Hell's
Anarchy.
Angels.
the Hell's Angels.
He's
blood-
testing Hell's Angels.
Here's what I love about this though is because he's looking at Captain Eyebrows and he's like, we'll just test you last, and then tests thing, and you don't expect it because he's still talking to
Right.
Captain Eyebrows.
It
and
scared the fuck out of me,
it
dude.
did, yeah.
It scares
was,
me every.
that
This
was an
movie scares
effective
me every
jump
time I
scare.
watch
It was. It was an effective jump scare, but then it immediately backed it up with
Yeah.
awesomeness too. It's gross and I don't like it.
Yeah,
but
because
it
the
was
blood
awesome.
travels back to him.
Yeah, and then we see
Yeah,
Sons
that
of
was an
An-
effective and probably a really cheap thing to do because it was a really tight shot on the floor, and they just, I'm sure, had it on like a
And it's
gimbal
making
or
a
whatever.
squeaky sound.
Yeah, yeah,
So when
yeah.
it comes out of the pan, it looks like solid Jello, and it flies out, and you're like, "Oh
It's
God!"
like the Jello version of that can of snakes that you open and it just jumps up in
Yeah.
your face. Yeah, Hell's Angels things out, and I love this too because he's thinging out with Captain Eyebrows and Childs. Why are you all looking like that?
Because you're talking, we're looking at you, we're making eye contact.
You guys are looking at. Okay, anyways, so and here's what I love about this.
Doctor.
Doctor.
is that Captain Eyebrows and Childs are tied to the same bench. Yeah. The dude is sitting
they're
out
just like,
on.
"Give me
And they're just like
the
screaming, and the bench is like flopping around. It's awesome.
I mean, that's exactly what I would be doing.
Right.
This is
Yeah.
the best part because Todd's scared shitless. We're recording him, and Kurt Russell, McCready's flamethrower malfunctions.
Oh yeah, what did I say?
You're like, how can a flare gun jam?
Yeah, or flamethrower.
No, you said flare gun.
Did I?
Well, and so how many times does McCready's
Oh my God.
flamethrower jam with DJ Flamethrower just sitting in the corner?
I mean,
Oh, yeah,
that's where he's like,
yeah. He can't make a word because he can't.
He's
make
drunk.
anything work. Yeah.
He had a flamethrower.
He
It was
doesn't-
working.
he
that's his
doesn't have
only
his-
drunk moment. That is
Yeah.
his only drunk moment in the movie.
But then he's like, Windows, do something, and then Windows is like, oh yeah, I have a weapon.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
he just
then
didn't have his glasses on.
And then Windows goes to fight it, and then Windows gets shut down unexpectedly.
Yeah, nailed it.
his C drive reformatted so hard.
Fatal error on Windows' part because the thing grows a mouth out of his head and picks him up.
and they had to recall.
I will say that is the only horrible effect in this whole movie is the dummy of DJ Curly Q
still
getting
think it
flung
holds up.
around.
Oh yeah. When he gets face split.
The face split looks great.
It does.
But-
and what's that plant? The Venus flytrap.
Flytrap.
Yeah, it looks
face?
like that,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then just flops. DJ flops a lot. all
yeah, DJ
around.
flops a lot.
This movie's creepy when someone's whole head turns into a Venus flytrap like this, and
Yeah.
it looks
Yeah.
real.
Oh man, the practical effects are insane on this.
Yeah.
The only thing is Flopsy. Flopsy Mopsy looks awful.
Yeah.
When they're swinging him around, I'm like
Yeah.
that.
He
There's
looks
no
like a
joints
doll.
there.
You're
There's no
right.
joints.
Sits there,
But
Flopsy.
they quickly light it on fire and cover it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just sitting there, Flopsy sad in the corner, and they just like flamethrower his ass.
That's
you
true.
know? That's another thing too. Once they've decided somebody's the thing, they just immediately flamethrow him. There's no like.
dude, that's
we'll
what
try to
people
save
do.
him.
He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Oh, did we miss the part where Sweet Dog Handler gets it in the head?
Oh, yeah, we
didn't
did.
talk
We
about
did.
that.
Oh.
When
That's
McCready
already
takes-
happened, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when McKeady has the dynamite. Was it the dynamite?
No, it's when he's
They're
about to
testing
tie
blood.
people up
Yeah.
and test the blood, and we see Clark.
And he's
That's
like,
right.
"That's a good idea. You should do that."
I know.
And
he's
because
got-
he tries to,
he tries to scalpel him.
yeah, he tries to scalpel
I
him.
know.
Yeah,
It's
McCready
really
turns around,
sad.
pops him in the head. Oh, that's
Yeah.
another good part of that scene because they test his blood anyway, and then Childs was like, he was a person, so you're a murderer,
Yeah,
McCready. And
that
McCready, of
makes
course,
you a
is like,
murderer. I don't
give a
I
shit.
don't care.
Because I'm
Honestly, that was self-defense.
It was.
He was gonna stab him to death. It was self-fucking defense.
Yeah, but McCready was like, "And
It is sad because
Well,
I
he
love
tried to
that
kill
guy.
him. I mean, like, and McCready's like, we're all gonna. McCready had made his mind up at this point that no one's making it out. I think.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was right.
He's taking them all down
He's like,
with him.
everyone else is gonna die, or we're gonna prove conclusively before I even care, or we're all just dead.
They kill Sam Crow and they kill Windows.
Yeah.
And then what happens after that? Is this when they go into
like,
Walford Brimley?
Everyone else in the room is human.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they're like, we need to go test Blair.
Yeah, now they go. I called it the Brimley Shack. So they go out to the Brimley Shack.
there are
this point-
so many good band names in this
Because
podcast."
at this point, it's only.
Brimley Shack would be an awesome band name.
That's definitely like a hey-ho band, the Brimley Shack.
Yeah.
They only have acoustic guitar, banjo, and a kick drum.
Yep, that's
That's
it.
all they have.
They got to test their blood sugar every 2
That's
hours.
actually.
Oh my
So their shows
god!
can't
That's
last.
actually
They've
my
replaced
antique
BB
baby
King the
clothes
diabetes
boutique.
commercials.
Oh,
Holy shit, that's
BB
amazing.
King have diabetes too?
Well, he did.
did.
Oh,
He did.
I forgot he was.
So they
in
go to
it.
test Walford Brim.
They go to Walford Brimley.
Walter
Brimley.
Borford.
They go to test Waffle Butt Face. I don't know his name.
He didn't go to 8 years of Ava Walford Brimley Medical School. Yeah,
He
so
actually is a doctor, though.
He is. That's right. But he's an Antarctica doctor.
I would like to apologize for the way my voice said that. Well, yeah, the doctor. Oh,
Well, actually, Todd.
oh God.
Okay, so then they go out to the Wilford Brimley Shack, and that's when they see that he's lost his mind and destroyed everything, right?
No, they like.
No,
look at
he's
it,
not there.
Gone.
He's gone.
And that's when they go down to the
They
shack.
see
So at
the
this point,
ice
it's only
tunnel.
McCready, Childs, and Base Commander, right? Those are the only three
Captain
left?
Eyebrows.
Yes. Yeah, Roller Skates is still around because Roller Skates.
They told him to wait behind, right?
No, they
I
take
remember.
him with him. How did Roller Skates die?
I
He
don't,
gets
we
killed-
don't see it.
He gets killed the same time.
They
the
find
Base
his
Commander gets
body,
killed.
right?
Kind of.
Anyway, so they go down the
They
hole
find
in the shack.
ice tunnel.
How did
Yes.
wait? How did that happen? Because I must have
He's
missed.
turned into John Travolta in Phenomenon, and suddenly
What?
the thing has unlocked all of his
If
brilliance.
I could
and-
change
The world.
I would be your thingy in the basement of
There's
ice.
way too much John Travolta on this
I will
podcast.
build a spaceship and get out of this place.
Okay, can you please
If
tell me though?
I
Yeah, so they go
were
downstairs, they
a-
find the spaceship, and all I'm thinking of is like, how long is Wilford Brimley been a
Wilford
thing
Brimley.
because
That's-
he dug a hole and built a spaceship out of what?
But they are a collective, so as soon as they turn him into a thing, he could be letting other people in to help build it.
Yeah, like the werewolves in Twilight. They have like hive mind.
I think what
thing.
you're saying is Vamp House.
Oh, pardon me. But he's using the helicopter parts.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in the book, the Tommy Knockers, like once you become an alien, you like become like your turbo brain, and you can do all these things really.
So
really
he dug an
fast.
ice
Yo,
pit.
Mikey.
Don't-
You see that chick's Tommy knockers?
Oh my god.
Nailed it.
Is it like a British thing?
Oh yeah.
Oi! Some nice Tommy knockers you got there.
So yeah, they go down to see, the spaceship.
They go down into the ice cave where Wilford Brimley has been geniusing out a new space.
A new Millennium
ice
Wait, wait, wait,
DeLorean.
wait.
Oh
But-
yeah. I said. I
You know
said
what
I'm
though? Hold on. But there was
DeLorean.
a desk down there.
There was.
There
That's where he
I'm
writes the
telling you, I
blueprint.
think this movie takes place over a period of time.
It might have. Although I think Wilford Brimley just got turbocharged.
I think he got
and decided to
turbocharged,
bring
too.
a desk into his ice cavern.
Maybe the
well,
desk
if
was
you
already
if you
down
look
there.
upstairs, all the stuff upstairs is misplaced, and he's bringing stuff in. There's a tunnel out the back. So
Where is
You know
nerd
what would
thing
go
gonna work?
You know what would
I
go
know.
great in this ice cave? A little chaise lounge, a
Yeah.
little roller desk right over there.
Blair was not a thing the entire time. I'm standing by that.
I don't think so either, but the things are much stronger than regular humans. They can split off parts of their body. So, I mean, he could have just
Maybe
split
he
off arms
And they imply
legs
that
and worked.
whatever they become before, it can become again. That's where it can become like a spider, eagle, dog.
A dog, yeah.
So he
Absolutely.
just thinged out little worker things that's what built the thing tunnel.
This
It's
is all
incredibly creepy.
conjecture.
Either
Right.
way, there's a space DeLorean down there that they
There
decide they
is.
have to blow up.
How's it going to get out of that ice, too?
I mean, he dug a fucking hole and took a desk down there.
Well,
he could
that's true.
uncover the.
If he's got the technology for a spaceship, I think he can get it out of 7 feet of ice.
If you could turn Flamecopter into a spaceship,
Space flame copter,
Space flame copter!
it's out of this world.
holy
God.
shit!
We gotta make
I
that-
need a Flamecopter shirt, and then on the back, Space
Space
Flamecopter. Holy shit! This,
Lord.
somebody please make that design. I
But
will put
Todd,
that shirt
how
on
would they get the
Teespring right now.
spaceship up from underneath the shack?
They flame it out. That's what the flames are for.
Oh my god, we got him to snort.
I want this to be real.
I know. We're going to have a spin-off cartoon.
Somebody call Adult Swim right now.
Like, I want to see Flamecopter versus Predator.
One of you fucks sells this to Cartoon Network before we do. I'm gonna punch all you guys.
This legitimately sounds like a better Predator movie than the one that just came out.
So this is when they decide to blow up the shack or the spaceship, really.
Yeah.
So they climb back out of the hole and they throw dynamite back down there. It slides under the
And another great
space
McCready moment,
DeLorean
they're
or
like, "What do we do?"
space
And he's
captor.
like,
They've seen Childs walk off into the... Like, Childs is not with them anymore. Childs wandered off.
Right.
And they saw him go somewhere, which is
Yes.
important. And so now they're talking about how they just have... It wants to freeze itself so it can go back to sleep and wait for the aliens to come get it again.
The thing destroys the generator at this point, so now they know
Yeah.
they can't survive the winter.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But
Man.
But that's when they start talking about it's trying to freeze itself so it can just be woken up by the rescue team and fuck with them.
Right. So then they blow up the Blair Shack and all the other buildings.
No, she's right though.
And then they go down into another ice tunnel.
Well, no, because McCready's like, they're like, what do we do? McCready's like, we're gonna turn up the heat, and then just blows up the whole camp.
But they
Well, I mean, they're trying
he
to-
means theoretically turn up the heat.
They're trying to go
By
literally.
being awesome and then blowing everything
They're
up.
trying to go restart the generator because it's roller skate, it's McCready, and the Captain Crazy Brows, right? They go down to the basement or wherever the generator is to go restart the generator so they can survive.
Yeah, it's like
and
the
then
utility cave.
the captain is like, the generator's not here. And he goes, well, what will it take to fix it? No, it's not here. That's when they decide just to blow everything up.
Yeah, they say, fuck it, we're just going to blow everything up. And they try.
As you do in your problem solving.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when you're shit-faced problem solving.
I mean,
Well, and in
I totally
truth-
get it. I've been there.
In truth, there's nothing they can do to survive. They are going to die, and they want to make sure it dies with them.
And McCready has some badass lines like, well, I'm gonna make sure I kill this thing before I die.
Yeah.
I'm taking it down with me. Mano a mano. Yeah, so then I'm not exactly sure how this all happens, but Captain Eyebrows, they start wandering off, and we're like, you never leave anybody.
Well, they're
at this
planning
point.
dynamite. That's what they're doing.
Right.
So
but you
McCready's
don't leave anybody's sight.
no,
because
absolutely
that's
not.
when you become the
absolutely
thing.
not.
Todd's like that little 2-year-old at the mall that like hangs on to like the dad's.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I told you, Todd. I was like, These three people should never separate ever.
They
No.
like attach themselves to McCready and just wander around.
And Childs,
behind him.
Childs wanders off so quick, it's like a blink of an eye, he's gone.
He does, yeah. Maybe he's the thing.
He's not.
So they go in the basement.
And so Captain Eyebrows is wandering around, and then Wilford Brimley pops up right behind him and face fingers him right in the face.
In the mouth.
And
As
starts-
gross as that sounds, it's factually
That
accurate.
is the
Yeah.
only way to describe it.
Earlier, Todd was like, how are these people not screaming when they're
Yeah.
attacked?
in face fingers, no one can hear you scream.
Oh, damn.
Boom.
It's in the space flame copter.
Captain Crazy Eyebrows is getting finger face fucked, and no one hears that.
Right,
So
because
it's just Snake Plissken or McCready
Right.
and roller skates.
Yeah.
And the roller skates kind of walks up next to him and looks over to where Captain
Does
Crazy
he walk
Brows.
or does he skate?
No, he's walking. His skates do not define him, Jen.
In snow,
So-
no one can hear you skate.
So he walks past. He walks past McCready and then walks over there, and we just never see him again.
Right.
And then McCready's like, "Guys."
Yeah.
The
Happening.
funniest part, because he's like got the TNT like cartoon detonator. He's like,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
and then the Tremors come up and like yank the TNT detonator down.
Yes.
Yeah, so Tremors show up and start graboiding all over the place. And then we see the giant thing, and it's almost like that moment at the end of Terminator 2 where we... Oh my God.
That giant thing.
Very fleshy.
How you
It
doing,
is.
lady?
It's got some gross liquid dripping from it, too. So then he gets trimmered to death. No,
No, he
What?
does
No.
not.
McCready lives.
that's the Jen version of it.
Just like the patriarchy goes down because they all become the thing, and it's like
Yeah.
one gender.
I'm going to face finger that patriarchy, man.
Wow, that's
You
real
can go
Oh
graphic.
my God, that is like, that is
I
your
need-
tagline.
I know, I need that on a shirt.
I want a flame
face
copter.
finger in the patriarchy.
And it's just a giant thing on the front and me face fingering it. That'd be awesome.
It's just-
What? No,
Somebody make
the
this art,
image
please.
is the flame copter. What?
Flame copter versus the patriarchy.
I like it.
It's space.
Oh, man, yes.
The sequel's in space,
Oh, it's-
and it's called Flame Copters in space, and that's when they make Space Flame Copter.
Space flame copter.
The power
By
to
minute.
face in flame.
In space, no one can hear you flame.
Actually, that is
Oh.
kind of true because there's no oxygen. So
there's no there's no fire in space.
Okay, so what happens at the very end? McCready dynamites
We did not.
everything else.
How did he kill the tremor?
He dynamited he blew everything up.
You never really see him kill the tremor or
You
the
don't.
thing. You
You
never really
just
see him. You just assume he did.
He just runs away.
Because
I
he
don't-
blows everything up.
What I don't know is how he got out, but whatever.
Flamecopter flew him out.
Which is another thing, because at this point you don't know if he's a
It could
thing.
be.
You don't know if he's a thing after that.
Right. Maybe he
Yeah.
got out from the power of the thing.
That's
Copter
the
versus-
power of thing. So McCready walks out of the dynamited building
Yeah.
up to a burnt down shack and like lays down with a bottle of J&B.
Yeah.
And this is where Childs walks back up. Is it
Double-
Childs
it's
or
Childs.
Childs? Okay.
And then
Yeah.
this is when the power went out.
Yes. When we
Like
were
in
watching
real
this-
life,
in real life,
in the pod loft,
IRL,
I lost
power
my
went
shit,
out.
grabbed my phone, and turned my flashlight on immediately.
Yeah.
Cause the Think Shack is a little old place where
Todd gets the shit scared out of him.
face fingered baby.
Thanks, Shaq.
If you see a sexy dog running down from the hell, you don't let him bite you on the leg, Shaq. I don't know. I did my best.
Good, yeah.
There needs to be a verse about the female computer who lives there.
The power went out for us, and then we eventually watched the last 20 seconds
We
on
did
Jen's phone.
On the phone, yeah. I had to download
And you thought
it
I'd hate
afterwards.
this because this is the end. You thought
did
I'd
think
hate
you
the
would hate
ending
the
of this.
ending.
I thought you
Here's
liked
why
it.
I didn't hate the ending of this. Everything was explained. I knew what the thing was. I knew how it was killing people. I saw the thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Black Christmas.
So let's say what does happen. So it's McCready
Okay.
and Childs talking to each other, and they're like, "What are we gonna do? Sit here and wait and see what happens."
So McCready hands him the bottle,
He does,
Yeah.
yeah.
and
And
he's
that's
like, "We'll
the
just sit
end.
and wait."
And
And
that's
they
the
just
end of the movie.
drink.
And the music is very ominous.
I assumed
Do
they
we
died.
see them drink?
You see Child's drink.
Okay, we don't see McCready drink.
You don't see McCready
because
drink.
okay, there
This is a lot of fan theory. Yeah, go into it,
there are
Jen.
theories.
Can
And
we
I-
just jump into Jen's fun facts?
Yeah. I was referencing this earlier. So there are the three main theories. There's the breath theory, where because in this scene, and I was looking for this too, you see McCready's breath. You see every time he exhales, you see it, the cold breath in the air, and you don't see Child's breath. So the theory is that because you don't see Child's breath in that he is the thing.
Ah.
Because you don't see Child's breath, he's the thing because he's not really alive. He's a
Gotcha.
thing.
Not really breathing or whatever.
Yeah, so that's the breath theory.
Okay.
There's the bottle theory. Beaker earlier was talking about how you're not supposed to share food. So because MacReady is offering him the bottle, the theory is that MacReady is the thing and trying to
That's not the
infect
theory I subscribe to.
Childs. Okay, well that's the bottle theory that I know. He's trying to infect Childs through the sharing of the liquid.
Headcanon. Here's my headcanon for the movie. The bottle is not filled with whiskey. It's filled with kerosene.
Yeah.
Is that another one?
That's another bottle theory. Yeah.
just go into that one.
Basically, he's trying. Well, I don't know as much about it as you, but basically, he's trying to infect him by passing him the bottle.
So the theory I liked was that MacReady had replaced his bottles were Molotovs with like kerosene.
I remember that when he was blowing up the building.
He passes it to Childs, who drinks it. Then you see MacReady's face smirk because like he figures out he's a thing.
Because he doesn't notice that he's drinking kerosene.
Because he doesn't notice he's
Because
drinking
the
kerosene.
thing. So in your theory, Childs is the thing, and in my theory,
MacReady's
the thing.
And that's the brilliant part because it can both work.
Exactly. Okay, so there's another theory about eye lighting. So in the blood test scene, if you look, it cuts to everybody's eyes, and apparently they were lighting their eyes. And I can't remember how it actually happens, but there's a shadow over someone's eyes, Powell's eyes or Sam Crow's eyes, because he's the thing. So by lighting the eyes, that's how you can tell. And I think
Those are the kind of details that they put in. Is that he had so much extra time on pre-production that he went and rewrote the script like a bunch in the screenplay to include all these little details and hints and like red herrings and stuff.
Yeah, the pre-production on this was a long time. So they actually filmed, or they had written some different endings to this, and one was that Childs and MacReady get rescued in the spring, and they say, "Oh, want to have a hot meal," indicating that they might be about to thing the people. Another ending had just MacReady at the very end drinking, and Childs wasn't involved. But they ended up going with this ambiguous one, which I really like, and I think is
I kind of like the MacReady drinking by himself ending.
Yeah, but then you don't have the ambiguous. Well, I guess you could say whether or not he is the thing.
No, I wouldn't. I would just be like, okay, MacReady's killing himself. He just seems slightly suicidal throughout the whole
Well,
film.
but
he
you can
does.
still have that ending with Childs because they're basically deciding to do nothing and just letting the thing die with
the
them.
I subscribe to is he just tested Childs and he's about to fuck him up.
Oh.
Well, that's what I want. That's what
That's-
because he smirks after he takes a drink and he doesn't. MacReady never drinks out the bottle, and it's the first scene he never drinks whiskey in.
That's what happens in The Thing 2 Flamecopter.
MacReady flies the flamecopter drunk.
Just crashes into another base. Okay.
He's like, gotta burn Antarctica down.
It took Kurt Russell took him a year to grow out his beard and his hair, and it was worth it.
I mean, it was a ball of
A
beard.
year?
It is, yeah.
That's how long it would take.
What
me.
is that like?
Okay, they considered Carl Weathers for Childs.
Oh,
That could have been good.
And Ernie Hudson and Isaac Hayes.
All of these people would have
Oh,
been
wow.
great.
I mean, I like the guy who played him.
Shaft?
I just know
The
him
thing
from
is out
South
there.
Park. Chef.
You feel that? Is that the thing?
Is that my thing?
He,
Or is it that
Is that
thing?
your thing?
Nice.
Keith David broke his hand the day before shooting.
Oh, my God.
And he apparently showed up on set anyways because this was his first movie, so he was probably afraid he was going to lose the spot.
Oh, yeah.
And they made him go to the hospital, and he came back and they put like a surgical glove and then a black glove, and then they painted it to kind of make it look like his flesh. But that's why you don't see his left hand for the first half of the film.
Huh. Interesting.
That is interesting.
Isn't it? Yeah.
I have a fun fact.
Okay.
This is John Carpenter's favorite film he made.
Yeah, it is.
It's
it was
probably his best.
terribly.
I think it is his best.
I don't know. I like Halloween a lot better. It was received.
I think this is way more complex and well made than Halloween.
when it
I've seen Halloween and I've seen this, and this is much better than Halloween.
You haven't seen Christine.
What?
This
I
is
love
way
Christine.
better than Christine.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to
I
see a
got a
movie about
soft
a car that
spot
comes
for
to life and
Christine.
kills a guy's enemies?
Oh, there's a movie called Christine? I'm sorry. I didn't know.
It's a Stephen King adaptation.
Oh, if it's a Stephen King movie, it's going to be a bag
But
of
this
shit.
movie is so because look at all the
It is good.
nuance and like subtlety and well played and like the plot's good and I knew you liked the movie. You were scared, but you actually liked the film.
I
You
liked
stopped
it.
making fun of it once it started.
That's true.
I wouldn't watch it again.
Well, no, you don't like horror movies,
Right.
But I mean, you liked the film,
Yeah.
I understand why people really like
and I
this
was like,
movie.
Todd will like this ending because this is a well-made film.
I did like it better this time. I've seen this twice before, and I hadn't been impressed because it's just so gross. But I did like it better this time. I got some fun facts about the FX. So the guy,
That means special effects.
For the lay people out there.
oh sorry, the special effects were all designed by Rob Bottin, who was like 21 or 22 when he did this.
No shit.
Yeah, and he had to be
What a
hospitalized
baller.
for
Oh.
exhaustion during this because apparently he was so dedicated he just lived on the set for a long time.
The
I mean,
effects were so
yeah,
good.
It comes
They
through,
were.
man. It's so good.
Some of the materials they used were mayo, creamed corn, microwaved bubblegum, and KY jelly.
All right.
Always good for a thing.
Yeah,
This opened on the same day as Blade Runner,
it did.
and it did terribly. Like, the reviews all hated it. They said the special effects were genius, but they were so disgusting.
Yep.
It's really nihilistic, too, and it was competing with E.T., which is another alien movie, which is way more uplifting. So it did really poorly. It did so bad that Carpenter was supposed to direct Firestarter next, and he lost that because this did so bad. Universal bought him out of his contract because of this, too. So
Really?
he got back. I mean, he's awesome. And this has become like a beloved film now. Like, it's on everybody's top 10 list of awesome horror movies. I got 2 fun facts for you, Todd. Because you mentioned in our trailer video that we posted on Patreon that man is the warmest place to hide is the worst
I think I
tagline
said it.
ever.
Men is the
You did
warm.
say
I think
men.
I read it wrong, which is even more embarrassing.
It is man is the warmest place
Yes.
to hide, which now that you've seen the movie, do you think that's a better tagline? Because I kind of think
No.
it's a cool tagline. I like it.
No.
Nah.
No, they didn't think it was cool either. They changed it because Alien had just come out too. So they used the guy who wrote the tagline in Space No One Can Hear You Scream, and they changed the tagline to Ultimate in Alien Terror.
That's real bad too.
I
That
know.
sounds like the tagline to Extra.
They originally had Powers Booth set to play. Right.
Man, I want to see that movie.
Me too.
I know, and I said that at the end
Powers
because I
Booth.
didn't want that voice.
Powers
for 2
Booth and
hours.
Shaft in the same movie.
Powers
With
Booth.
Kurt Russell as drunk McCready.
Ah.
I haven't had a good Powers Booth in a while.
I don't know. Oh, this was filmed in the snowfall capital of North America, which is in British Columbia, so it is real snow. And in some refrigerated sets in LA.
That's very cool.
Box office for this is gonna be real easy. The budget was $15 million, 1.5 of which they spent on special effects.
Worth it.
Yeah, 100% worth it, which is so much money for the 80s, like
And there were
early
so
80s.
many different effects in this
Yes.
too. Like it
It wasn't just like one set piece. It was
Oh,
like
yeah.
9.
There was one, I think the spider head thing, it took months of testing this thing before they actually
I
filmed
actually think this is a remake from a 50s film.
it is, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Thing
The
from
Thing from Another World.
Planet, based on a novella from the 30s or something
Yeah.
called Who Goes There?
So the whole budget was $15 million, right? It made $19.6 million. So it did make a little bit of money, not much, but has obviously done very well.
It's a classic.
Lucky
It's a,
Number
it's a it's
Yeah.
a cult classic. Or I mean, it's
It
just
is.
a classic.
It's on lots of best horror movie lists.
Yeah.
Yeah, people have kind of started to reevaluate it, but it's the kind of thing, it is very nihilistic and like a downer ending, and I think people just weren't really ready for it. Also, weren't really ready for the level of effects of this movie, too.
This movie is gross.
Oh, it's
I gagged.
so gross.
Did we talk about the real animal parts in the autopsy scene?
Oh, yeah. Apparently, Wilford Brimley is a cowboy and is used to handling animal parts.
That's
and so
why, that's
he was
why he
the-
reaches in there. He's like, "That's a heart."
Right. Well, they said he was the only one that wasn't grossed out by that. He just reached
But they
on
used
in.
real parts.
They did.
Scary scale?
Yeah. So our scary scale is a ranking we have of how scared we were when we watched this film. It is not a ranking of the quality of the film. It is how scared we were when we watched it today. Our 1 example is Ghostbusters and our 10 example is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh, another fun fact. Original director of this was supposed to be Tobe Hooper, who directed Chainsaw Massacre. They didn't like his version of the script, which apparently was more like Moby Dick than the original thing. Anyways,
I need the white thing. McCready as Ahab.
Yeah.
he's just looking for a big
100%.
white thing for 2
Child
hours.
is like, call me Childs. I'm just here to hunt ice.
There's the occasional 30-minute monologue about how to.
Had an ice thing.
Yeah.
You got to get the de-ice on the top of the sled.
Yeah, he goes into a lot of detail about how Flamecopter works. All right, so Chris, what do you rank this?
Okay, so I'm gonna rank it pretty low.
Okay.
Well, because you've seen it before, right?
I've seen it before,
Yeah.
but that should not detract from how awesome it is.
This isn't an awesome scale. It's a scary scale.
I'm gonna give it a 2.
A 2?
All right.
What?
All right.
It's not scary.
It's
I
not,
think
it's not an awesome scale.
like-
It's a scary scale on how he felt about it today.
I gave The Descent a 5.
Yeah,
I
which is
believe.
pretty low for that movie, I think.
Yeah, 2.
Mikey?
I'm gonna. I thought this movie was very scary when I saw it the first time. I've watched it a lot. I still think it's. I think it's holds up. I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay.
Don't make that face.
I did just give you like the whatever face.
Because every time I watch it, I think different things are happening. Like, okay, I think this person's a thing this time, and then like if you think about the movie that way, or McCready's a thing at the end, or Childs is a thing at the beginning.
Todd, I don't want to hear shit from you. You are the only person in this room that almost threw up.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm only saying it's not a 6. He just likes the movie.
No. There's 20 minutes that are scary every time you watch it, and it's the blood test scenes and the CPR scene.
It's very unnerving and paranoid.
I know
too.
that's coming, and I still jumped, and I still got freaked out.
Todd, what you got?
I was gonna give it a 7, but I mean, I have never seen it before, so like all the jump scares really made me jump. It was gory. I almost threw up. So yeah, I hated it. But I understand why people like it.
Yeah.
It's really well made, and
It is.
it's sort of a compelling story. It's interesting.
Would you have liked it better? Like, would you watch this like edited on USA at like 4:00 in the afternoon?
No.
Well, they'd have to edit out all the good stuff.
but this is where but they did.
This is where you watched it?
No.
So Jen, what would you give it?
I'm going to give it a 5, I think. It's just so gross.
Yeah.
That's part of why I don't like this movie. I like this movie. I can appreciate it for what it is. I don't enjoy watching this movie because it is so gross. But all of the parts that are not super gross are really good and scary, and the scares are effective. I just don't like all the gross goo that's everywhere. I don't like when your body becomes stretched out, when your body doesn't look like a human body anymore.
So Jen, what are we watching next week?
Next week we're watching 13 Ghosts, and
Yay.
Matthew Lillard's in that.
He's on the
Oh, I like
podcast.
Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's good. It's interesting. We're going to have a guest for that. It's going to be fun.
So Chris, where can people find you online?
You can find me at Faust Band on Instagram, on Twitter. It's a music project that Todd is also involved in.
Yep.
I feel like every time I say Facebook now, I'm going to think finger Facebook before I say it.
Mikey, where can people find you
Well,
online?
people can find me online at mrandolph24 on Instagram and Twitter.
You're not super active on Twitter, but you are on Instagram.
I guess I don't like the Twitter app. Will you teach me Twitter?
He's taught me Twitter.
It's really easy. So you can follow the Horror Virgin at Horror Virgin on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can follow Jen Ferratu on Instagram and Twitter, and I'm at Todd J. Awesome on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Hey, guys, everybody go to our website, which Chris actually built.
Yep.
It's awesome. It's got a blog. It's got links to all of our merch store. It's got, it's not linked to Patreon yet, though.
It is not.
Yeah, but we are on Patreon. We got lots of cool stuff. You should check us out there.
Patreon.com/Horror Virgin.
And we are a member of the Modern Horrors Podcast Network.
That we are. Check them out,
Yep,
guys.
lots of great shows. Yeah. So thanks. That's going to be it for us today. Hey, happy 2019. Thank
And Happy
you,
New Year.
Patreon people. Thank you for suggesting this. We are so excited to have done our first listener request. We'll be doing that again soon. Thanks, Chris, for joining us today. So that's going to be it for us. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. I'm Jen.
I'm Mikey.
And I'm your Horror Virgin, Todd. We'll see you next week. Watch 13 Ghosts.
Happy New Year.
Bye, nerds.